say that, though, to be fair, you guys have a conversation.
Well, she's saying about, you know, I
Just wait, just wait.
no, I just.
Oh, Linda, did you get to sign in?
Oh, you must sign. What is it, Porter Colin? Yeah. Wait, you're 20, 31.
I'm here.
And I'm holding up the whole line. All right.
Do you want me to unlock that door? Or should I let it lock?
No, it should be unlocked. You need for me to go unlock it.
No, I can do it.
Thanks for that.
I'm getting your thing from Linda too.
Where needs to sit?
No, the camera goes there. She said, I need to shut my mouth. And I said, Mr. Bacon is one really sweet lady.
Yeah.
Scott's not coming.
He was holding the door. Is he with?
Yeah, I can hear the cold too. I don't think you want to go in this direction. Great, they're forever, so that's wonderful. Where are you gonna sit?
I'm going to keep me under control.
See, you're already bringing in money, Tom.
I'm still walking with that one.
Is that what you said?
Oh, are you going to keep me under control? Well, there's enough people, we can take the collection. Yes, yeah, you have to. Let's take up the collection to come together.
You're gonna need more chairs.
You're not going to take the things she's not going to do.
Did everybody sign in?
Anybody else out in the hall?
Yes,
Yes, there is somebody out in the hall.
there was one person behind me.
Okay.
Somebody gonna be in this chair?
You can.
Sure, go ahead.
Another
Yeah,
chair?
chair's not there.
And you need another chair. Here.
We have the police chair right there too.
Yeah, actually, that one you might be able to get easier.
Did you sign in? On your birthday?
You guys sign in too.
And there's another one, if somebody else comes in, there's a chair back here.
Okay, I'd like to call this meeting to order. Please rise and pledge the flag.
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Lorah,
Here.
Mr. Biltcliff,
Here.
Ms. Falcone, Mrs. Stoudt, Ms. Kunkel, Mr. Stoudt, Ms. Cook, and Mr. Polinsky. Everyone is present.
Okay, we have the minutes of December 12th in your package. You all have a chance to look them over, and do I have a motion to? I'll second.
I have an admission that I would like to have, put in, referring to directly to it, either for these minutes or as part of this meeting, I don't know what would be correct. I've stated a couple of times in discussions about cutting funding that my interest was in saving the Topton taxpayers' expenses, and that I did not want to see events canceled. I wanted alternative means of funding sought out rather than the taxpayers.
Okay, so Ms. Cook, would you mind stating where in the minutes you'd like that added?
Are you saying that it was stated incorrectly?
It's not mentioned at all.
Okay. I mean, because normally with minutes only have to summarize a discussion. They don't have to be a full record, just, who spoke, and maybe a word or two on what was said.
Or could you just have that added to today's minutes?
That could also be added as a clarification, to say, and under minutes, that Ms. Cook wished to clarify that she had said that she didn't want events canceled, but was simply looking for alternative sources of funding. Is that
Rather than having a Topton taxpayers.
right? Okay, I mean, that's, you can just note that in these minutes, December 26th.
Anything else? Did we get a second?
Yes, we did.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Do any visitors have anything that they would like to talk about before we talk about the things that we have on our agenda?
I would like to know why I'm not getting the same percentages what the other guys are getting, and I work here 8 hours a day, just like they did. And I would like to know why I'm not getting the same thing as what they got.
Does anybody have any information for Jesse?
From what I've understood, that was what, has been talked about for the last couple of years, that due to the certifications they hold and the fact that they're on call for the water, the sewer plant 24 hours a day, that kind of thing, that it was understood that we can't continue to give everybody the same pay rate if everybody doesn't have.
But I'm here all the time.
I know you.
I'm
He's
here
been
all the
over
time
10
on the
years,
streets
and
all
those
the
guys have
time.
been here less than a year, they got
And
more
these
than
guys
you.
are just starting not even a year yet, and they're getting a pay raise than what I'm getting. I'm over 10 years here now. And these guys are cutting me. That ain't right.
Equipment, he saved you guys from digging
I
out.
saved how much time
It was my
for you
understanding
guys down at the
personally-
sewer plant? I saved his money. I saved his money down at the,
And there's one
Pension
truck
plan.
that needs a CDL, and there's already 4 other guys
Okay,
that have it. Why was he have to get
At
it?
a time, please.
I would just like to know why I'm doing that.
My understanding was that this is a discussion that's been had, that this is not.
For the past 12 months, we've discussed with staff that raises would be based on certifications and licenses as part of the increase. That's correct.
So that's what it's for. It's because I don't run the equipment for it. I cover for the other guys when they're up at the water plant. I don't
Yeah,
understand
he's
this.
part of a team,
Just
you're
shut up.
discriminating.
I just don't understand this. This don't make sense. I'm up there.
But we hear the same thing from the other guys, Jesse.
What do you mean you can't see it here from the other guys?
Why are you getting the same pay rate as them? Because they're, you know, they're certified in this and they.
I don't see him there tonight.
They're not here tonight, but they were here last week.
Yeah, they didn't say nothing about it, they were trying to. This ain't right. Well, I'm getting cut.
We're trying to do what's right for
It's
everyone.
1%.
You surely ain't doing nothing right for everybody, especially me.
It's like
I'm
you're
here
trying
putting
to
my
say
time in,
I understand.
then why do I have to get a cut? There's one lousy truck sitting in that parking lot over there. You don't need 5 guys to have a CDL license.
Jesse,
When
I
I cover them guys on that equipment, they expect me to run that equipment. They come to me all the time and say, you've got better experience on that tractor, spare experience on that loader, spare experience on that skid loader. You got spare experience on the dump truck, driving them around on the back. I got them on the back. I gotta keep an eye on them all day long without driving over them. So I don't get no cut on this?
Well, you didn't get you can't say we didn't give you any raise. You just didn't. Jesse, I know everybody's not happy. There's no money. We gotta figure out.
And you cut me out of the deal when I'm here working for these guys. That ain't right. That ain't right.
We all made a decision.
That was why, I mean, that's.
Yeah, that's why, it's because of CDL license. Because you don't need 5 guys to run a truck when it sits there all year round.
It is not
Jesse,
solely.
We don't even move it.
It is
Wait,
not solely
Jesse,
CDL.
just
Then what else is it?
Understand that.
And
What
you
else
talk
do I
about
do?
40%
What
of the
do I
data
do
you
here?
guys needed.
I know you are
Monica,
as
just
well.
wait till he stops, he's not listening to you. Let Monica explain this to you, because it's not just the CDL.
Right. It
Then
is-
what else is it?
Were you gonna tell him, is that what you were saying?
Well, I was going to. I mean, there are other things that were discussed. I know we talked about the spraying for bugs.
Nobody's getting it.
Well.
That's why we're gonna hire somebody to spray the weeds.
That was something that was in the works. Does anybody want it?
No, nobody wants to
Yes
be
or no?
responsible, because you guys don't wanna get no money.
You have the guys at the water plant and at the sewer plant too.
Yeah, and I cover for them when there's problems at the sewer plant all the time. When they got a pump going down, who do they call? Me. I go up there and help them pull that pump. We work together in this borough here. All 6 guys, we work together.
And we do.
And I'm always constantly with them all the time. And then you cut me because I don't get them.
Jesse,
It don't make sense.
Jesse, you can't, you have to lower your voice, please.
No one
This
has
is-
ever not appreciated what you have done. And
It
what
seems
you
like
do.
it. That's how small
That
I
is
feel
not
now.
true.
That's how small I feel.
That is not
You guys don't care about me.
Oh, that's,
That is not
That's what it
true.
seems like.
So not true.
What do you mean it don't true?
okay,
Then why don't I get the same as what they get?
Jesse, I want to, I don't know if you want me to say this or not, but the line item, I don't know that I say this or not.
I will.
Because you don't. There's sessions where decisions are made, he's registered as a protest and it'll be considered.
I'm saying that when I add up healthcare, all the things we give him as benefits, it's a very large.
You give them guys the same thing?
Yes.
Why do I get cut for it? Because I'm the lowest one on the totem pole, it seems like.
no, what we did was, they also had their water certifications, which they had to go to school for, and
Okay.
the sewer certifications, I mean,
And
that.
that's what they
That's
got
what
hired
he was
for.
hired
That's
for.
what they got hired
One
for.
person
I
at a
got
time.
hired for public works here. And that's what I do all day long. I do my job here for public works and more. More than what I gotta do. And you guys don't even have a clue what I do all day long. You don't.
Okay, you have stated your case, and for us to consider, we are going to have the budget, to talk about the budget a little later. I mean, we explained to you how we came up with the difference in the
That's
percentage
no-
raises.
That's the stupidest thing I ever heard. Because I'm here 8 hours a day with them guys. And I cover for them too. When Scott's up at the water plant, who runs all the show down here? I do. But he gets paid for it, but I'm the one in charge when I'm down here.
Okay,
That ain't right.
okay. Thank you for making your thoughts known. Is there anyone else? Kathy?
I just want to say that I was I was dismayed when I saw the agenda for tonight that Courtney is leaving, and I thought maybe Courtney would be here tonight because she was a very good asset to the office and to the borough, and I just wanted to wish her well on her future endeavors.
Ask her why she's leaving.
I know why she's leaving, you know, and I feel bad for everybody else that she is leaving. I know what it's gonna put on everybody else with her going, and I'm just hoping that it doesn't start the domino effect of people leaving. That's it.
Anyone else? Keep her on.
Are there additional copies of the papers?
Are they all out?
Yes.
Could you share possibly, for me to leave and go make copies?
No,
It really can't be done right now, I'm sorry, I can make copies for you after the meeting is over,
Perfect.
okay? For the record, council had an executive session that started at 6:45 and ended at 7 p.m. regarding personnel matters this evening. Also, this meeting is being recorded, so everyone knows it's all on YouTube and on a recorder. The borough secretary has submitted her letter of resignation. Council has a copy of it in your packets. Have you all had a chance to review it?
Do you want?
So council got one and I, as her supervisor, got another one. Is there a wish for me to read the one that I received or the one from to council? I apologize, to council.
Are they different? Where's the one that?
They are slightly different, yes. Just wanted to make council aware, to be transparent.
It's up to you.
I think you read the one that's counted.
Okay.
Okay, I consider that one to be a public document.
Okay, this is all to council, dated December 15th, 2022. I apologize for my voice. I'm resigning from my position as Borough Secretary effective December 30th, 2022, when I discovered that the full-time secretary position was removed from the 2023 budget at the end of November. I began looking for other employment opportunities. I informed a member of council in September that if the position remained part-time, I would need to start looking for employment elsewhere. As a part-time employee, I receive no health benefits. I drive an hour to Topton every day, and I already have another part-time job. It is not financially feasible for me to work in Topton anymore, since the position is not being moved full-time. Employees were extremely overlooked by council in the 2023 budget process. Council praises employees and thanks us for our job performance and good work, but council does not reward employees when it counts. In a small town like Topton, the employees are the biggest asset to the town. Topton Borough Council overlooked their employees this year and does not see them as the resource they truly are. Thank you for the opportunity to work for the Borough of Topton. I truly enjoyed my time here. Sincerely, Courtney M. Corona, Borough Secretary. So at this time, I would ask that council accept the resignation of Courtney Corona. My motion, please.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
And if it pleases council, please direct me to advertise the position as soon as possible. I appreciate that, thank you.
Is there a motion?
Okay.
So I'll authorize advertising.
Second.
Whoever.
Okay.
Michelle, I have one question. Why all of a sudden
20.
is there no money?
All of a sudden,
Yeah.
We have a motion on the table.
We'll vote on the motion first for advertising the position, then we will answer the question.
we only have a motion, we don't have a second.
Is there a second?
Yes, we have.
Do we have a second?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
All those in favor of Stacy posting, the open secretary position?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Thank you.
All of a sudden, why we have no money?
Yeah,
It's not all of a sudden.
that's what it seemed like to us. We never heard of shortcomings before.
There's not shortcomings. The budget was done with never looking forward to things that need for future. And it's also not being done this year either. We will be, because one of the things that has to be done is that sewer rates will also be raised, because the sewer account is not funding itself at all. The money from the general account is being used to pay for things that the sewer should be able to be paid for out of that account.
Okay, then why did it take so long to raise, if you knew this was gonna come, why did it take so long to raise the sewer rates? Because now everybody's bitching, everything's going up, but when was the last time the sewer rate went up?
Was it 2016 or was it 2017? But one thing also is our things, the cost of things for the borough in general are going up. So we have to account for that extra money. What we should have done, taxes should be raised in increments before now. To not only try to pay things now, we shouldn't be just making it by. The budget shouldn't be cut so low so that you can just pay what needs to be paid now. We should be able to put things away for road projects, in case something happens. Improvement projects down the road, and that's hard to do without raising taxes, because costs for us have gone up, as well as everyone else. As far as the sewer, I mean, that's something that should have been done, that should have been done years ago.
17 the last time.
17, that's what I thought. 2017. Sure.
Thank you.
Is it because we don't have any industry that we, the taxpayers, that's the money coming in? You know, like, people are saying, well, how come Fleetwood can do it? How come Kutztown can do it? Even little Albertus, is it because they have more tax money from industry than Topton does?
That is one thing. They also have more residents.
More
I think they have like twice as many. So
Higher
that a
census.
mill, so like a mill, our taxes are, not including EMS taxes, are like 6.4 mils. One mill is only $78,000. So that's not much money in taxes that we get to begin with. Fleetwood is it 120?
I think it's around there.
It's like 120 or 30 per mil. So it's almost twice of what ours is. So it's tough. So even if we would raise taxes by a mil, it's only $78,000. You know, that's it. I say only, but to fund anything that the borough needs to be paying for or trying to have done, it's not much money. So that's why, you know, and as far as sewer rates go, that should have been looked at. Things weren't taken out of funds totally properly, and now that they are, and we just had the sewer lines done a few years ago, and the project that we had on Barclay Street, so that's a loan that we have to pay out of that account also. So there's a lot of costs involved in just running this.
And I just have, and the other scuttlebutt in the community is, what happened to the money from the pool? We were not running the pool, where did that money go?
What money?
I know, but that's
That
what
money,
people.
the pool was losing money.
Yeah.
So we were putting money into that, so that was never, it was never supposed to be an income, it just, I would say, it was a flat line every year, when in actuality, the past, I don't know, if even I could go as far as 10 years saying it was losing money. So money is being taken out of the general taxpayer fund to pay for just fixing the pool and have the pool run. So that's, you know, something that.
We certainly don't run our borough very well.
Well, prior budgets were not allocated as they are now being, as far as percentages of general fund, water and sewer.
Does DECA pay taxes here?
Yeah.
Definitely, yes.
And can I ask who else is our, source of tax revenue?
You mean commercial?
Yes.
What the commercial that I can think of offhand are, GMI, the bigger ones, Electrospace, DECA,
Fold,
Modern Fold, the bigger ones, Rockland Embroidery.
Yeah.
And a lot of rental properties.
Right, and does DECA get any, tax breaks? Being in Topton? No, I'm just,
Tax breaks?
From us, no.
okay.
Well,
However, DECA does contribute a lot to other.
They do a lot of donations to, like, sponsoring things.
well, what did we get that wonderful sign out there that tells us we're welcome to Topton?
That is actually being worked on as a donation from the Centennial Committee. We do have money to do that. It is being worked on, actually.
Michelle, I just wanted to say something that maybe you wanna write this down. So I did some research on how many properties we have in Topton that pay taxes. We have a total of 783 properties that are in our borough. Of those, 762 pay property taxes. Then I have a breakdown of how many of those. We have 31 commercial properties that are at least categorized as properties that pay within that number. We have 17 industrial properties that pay taxes within that number. And I have 658 residential properties. So all of our tax money is really collected from 762 properties total.
Well, if you look at the budget, the real estate taxes, just the general real estate taxes the general taxes are $487,000 is what the amount is that we get from real estate taxes. So a lot of your tax bill is also the school taxes. So that's the majority of your tax bill.
And just so you know, for employees, out of all the funds, so our budget is cut into different funds. We have a sewer fund, a water fund, and a general fund, basically. The pool fund is really not even, we don't have it anymore, we probably should eliminate that. But out of our general budget, and we have, is it 8 full-time employees and 2 part-time employees?
Correct.
So we have 10 employees. Out of our total budget, we spent almost $1 million are given to those 10 employees in salary and benefits. I have 940,000 and change is what we spend on those 8 full-time people and 2 part-time people. Of our general fund, we spend $566,000 in salaries and benefits to our 8 full-time employees and 2 part-time employees. We actually pay more money to our employees than we actually collect in our tax, because we have other funds that come in for.
Correct, so to operate water, it's an enterprise fund. To operate sewer, it's an enterprise fund. So some of the salaries and benefits for running the water plant and for running the wastewater treatment plant can come out of the rents that we charge residents, commercial, and industrial.
So just to put that in a little perspective, for all of our taxes that we collect, the real estate taxes, the per capita, the realty transfer, the earned income, the local services tax, is just under 900,000. So all that money just covers the employees before we do anything else. It's not allocated that way, but just to see what we're dealing with. And then on top of that, we have $2.1 million in loans. This year, we'll be paying $407,811.24 in loan payments.
And just to expand on that, those loans were taken out prior to this council and prior to this manager.
Yeah.
And we refinanced as much as we could. If you can call it a refinance, it was a bond issue last year.
Saved us a ton.
So the loans were taken out to keep running the borough?
No, there's 4 different loans. One is for the property that they bought up here, the 229 White Street. One is for a truck, a 2019 F-550. One is for the sewer improvements, which is the biggest one. And the other one was the $1 million park loan they took out when they built the park.
I have a question. Why can't you sell the corner property and get some kind of money in there for that? It's just sitting there.
It's in the process of being used,
Being
like we
used as
have,
what?
that has not totally been designated yet.
But that's going to cost additional money to put, even if you build a parking lot, it's gonna cost money to make a parking lot.
We don't need a
That
parking.
property will be paid off in January.
We have
That's
about
possible.
$21,000 in our budget that is to pay off that property. It's left to pay that property off. I don't know why it was bought, that was the council prior to this yet.
I don't know that now we would even get the money back.
What about grants? Do you have a grant writer on it?
Yeah, we have used grants we do use and have used grants for, probably for all the loans that we have. The park, we had a grant for that. The truck, we had a grant, recycling grant for that. We did have a grant for the sewer system, sewer lines. So yeah, we did have.
So what percentage?
It depends on the grant.
Yeah.
It depends on the grant.
So I'm
The
just
grants have
curious,
different
you're
matches.
quoting all these numbers but I'm hearing about how much it's gonna cost, but how much of that total was given in grants?
Like I said,
Well,
the
none
grants,
of
it
that
depends
total.
on.
None of that total, that's the debt we carry.
That's what we owe.
Okay.
Yeah, the grants were paid up front. This is the balance of what is owed by the borough.
Like some grants, you have to, some grants, it's a total match that we would have to put nothing up. Sometimes it's 15%,
Right.
sometimes it's 50-50, so it depends on what the project is.
And that's really the only way we can get anything fixed. You know, anything that's falling apart now, you look at the roadways to explain how we get the money for that, and most of it comes from state funding, which they judge it based on total mileage of your town. So Long Swamp doesn't have as much traffic as we do, but they're geographically 4 times the size. So the money they get well outpaces things that we get. We get $60,000 a year from the state to try and keep up with all of our roads.
And Ethan, how much does it cost to pay one block?
The Oak Alleyway project this year will give you the best number of current times, and I think that was about 44,000.
How much money should we give Long Swamp to purchase their equipment to do blacktop?
We didn't give them
funded
anything.
that.
We entered a 4-way deal with them, Hereford, and Rockland so we're all paying a quarter of what that machine costs. We're in a municipal agreement for that. That's ours to, however you wanna say it, to get a share of it, you know? So we don't have to pay for that. That's how we brought down the cost to even what it was. If we had to bid that project out, you not only have to pay for all of that, but you have to put about, probably 20% markup on everything that they're gonna bring to you.
And actually, speaking of grants, one thing we also found out is because that we can do a lot of work, if we have, any road work done or any pipe work done, if we would get a grant for that, part of our matching, instead of having to put money towards that, would be being able to do, macadam work or that kind of work ourselves because we have this equipment now. So that's part of our match, our contribution to the grant, if we would do that for things also. Sure.
Hi. I read in the last minutes that have been posted on the website that there was discussion about library funding, cutting library funding, but because I don't see minutes from the meeting that haven't been approved yet, or that were just approved now, what was the end result of that? There was a discussion of cutting the.
The 15,000 is in the budget.
Okay, because
Yes,
it was
yeah.
like, you read these things in the minutes, but because you don't get the minutes from a meeting that you might have missed, since you haven't approved it until you come here, it's kind of like unresolved. So I just wondered what happened.
Right,
So they kept that funding?
There was no action action taken two weeks ago, that night, to change any of that funding, and the budget has not been approved yet, so that's what's going to be done tonight, that's why you wouldn't have.
All right, but right now, there's no proposed change?
Correct.
Thank
Does anyone else have anything to discuss? Or you wanna wait till?
I have a question, but I don't, sometimes when I ask a question, I kinda like to have the answer in my head to hear what your answer is, and I don't quite have the answer to it, but is there a way that we as the community can know exactly what's happening with money, like making it more transparent, like we were just talking about grants, okay, so this is just an example, say, if we get a grant for X, Y, Z, that will match whatever we put in it. So, say you spend $50,000 on something, but you get a grant that says, okay, then we will match that with $50,000. Is there a way that that can be other than actually coming into the office and saying, okay, this is public record? How can we see that?
So, council has to approve any administrative staff applying for grants. So that's usually a resolution.
Right.
And then, when we have to sign the contract, when we do receive a grant, that also has to come to council to authorize execution of that document. So those are the ways that you could see it in the minutes, in the YouTube video.
But you don't really see it as a group of numbers. You understand what I'm saying? Like, there should be a way that we can look at it and say, okay, so this is where this money went for roads, or this is where this money went for light bulbs. I don't know, it would be.
That's what I was just gonna
Just
say.
And
the
The
budget
budget.
document.
Upon the request of another person on council, Ms. Cook asked for a spreadsheet just of grants for the 2023 budget. So I will include that as part of the
Okay.
documents that are
That's what I
included in the
was kinda
budget.
asking about.
So if you wanna pinpoint where in the budget it is, and what's the revenue, what's the expense.
Okay, so that's what I was kind of asking, 'cause it's.
But it takes a while for us from application to receipt. So it could be a couple of years from when you hear about it until it hits the budget.
I mean, cause you hear all these numbers going on.
Sure.
And it's like, okay, let me fill in this one. Okay.
Anyone else? Okay, let's continue with.
So at our last council meeting, it was decided what the sitting hours would be in order for the interim tax bills from Berks County to be printed. Upon discussion with the newly appointed tax collector and our representative at Berks County and in the assessment office, it was brought to our attention because Tom will not go to the training until after the first of the year, that the sitting hours really need to include 3 sittings during April 16th through the 22nd and 3 sittings from April 23rd through the 30th. So we missed that in the motion that was made by council. So now, for the regular tax bills, we need to have revised sitting hours to go on to be printed on the regular tax bills. Tom, do you wanna go over what you're?
I spoke to our current tax collector. I talked to Nancy Hefner, I talked to the person at Berks County, I talked to a neighboring, just picking their brains about when people come. Month of April is when people come because that's when the end of the discount period. I talked to Nancy Hefner. I mean, we were trying to compare Nancy Hefner's hours compared to, to try to mimic that. And she admitted that if she would have had to come to the borough, that she wouldn't have had that many hours because a lot of times nobody comes. So to come to the borough, all those times, sit here for 2 hours, it would be a waste. So I'm proposing these dates. It's 12 dates in the month of March and April. I'm also available for private appointments. People can call me and I can meet them here. And this is adjusted to the being here 3 times in the last 2 weeks of April, that's the only thing that actually county requires, is have sitting hours at the end 3 times the last 2 weeks of April. And then from, it seemed to be a consensus of who I talked to also said after the discount period, they usually do not see much of anything until the end of June when the flat tax is done.
Did we have anything scheduled? I don't remember what it looked like.
It was more days. And when I talked to Linda at the Berks County, we changed the interims to just, because we only had 2 interim bills. So we changed that to say mail in or private appointment. So this could be changed, and I have till January 9th to get it into her. But I had a good conversation with her.
Plus, if you talk to Nancy to see what.
Yeah, she was doing it forever, so she had more of a pulse of when people came and stuff like that. So, you know, like I said, it's 12 dates in 2 months, plus if someone wants to meet me here one day, I don't have a problem with that. So, that's my spiel. And then I'll talk to the school then, when we do school taxes. That'll be different than, you know, they're the ones who print their bills. BCIU prints the bills for the school, and the county prints our bills.
That's what it used to look like, that's what the interim does. We're gonna,
That's what I thought. It continued. Anybody have any questions? We don't have to do anything, do we?
I would at least make another motion, because you
To
made a
change
motion,
it.
you
To
made a
change
motion
it.
for the interim, now make a motion for the regular.
To adopt the hours as presented.
So moved.
I'll second.
Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
I did get certified today. I took a class today, and I am a certified
Oh.
tax collector.
The next item has to do with Tom as well. He officially submitted his letter of resignation as mayor of the Borough of Topton, dated December 14th, so we would need a motion to accept Tom's resignation.
So. Second.
Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
And again, we remind everyone out in the public that the borough, as well as council, is accepting letters of interest for the appointment of mayor for 2023.
Do we have any letters yet?
I was off, but I do not believe so.
And when is this effective, Tom? When are you no longer the mayor?
End of the year.
The end of the year. So who takes over? Like,
We have to appoint, that's what we're
Appointed.
taking.
Yeah, somebody's gotta apply.
Someone already applied.
Right, under
No one has yet.
Well, actually, I
It's only
mean,
been-
the time period starts now for applications and the 30 days to appoint. There's 30 days, to appoint an elected official up to the next municipal election. And after that, a vacancy board would have to choose. So hopefully, there's plenty of applicants.
There's no one on our vacancy board. So, it skips that.
So you can get your application in.
Back time in, okay.
And the largest topic for this evening is the budget. So council was presented with a revised budget after their last meeting on December 12th. It is before you with a simple 1-column, what's budgeted for 2023. What was changed was the increase for water and sewer rents was capped at 20% for water and 20% for sewer rents across the board, industrial, commercial, and residential, as well as accounting for the ARPA, which a lot of people call it the COVID funding. That is a one-time funding. We put as much as we needed in the budget under water and sewer as revenue. Are there any questions on any of that?
I have a question on the budget in general.
Sure.
Is that okay now? Okay, so on page 3, I was just for my own information, this return of prior year insurance premium for 55,000. What did that's?
Okay, I'm sorry. Could you also tell me?
So shared payments for contracted intergovernmental services about 3/4 of the way down.
358.4.
Okay, so when we pay premiums to our cooperative, which is PMHIC, we are self-funded. And when we perform well and don't utilize the benefits for health coverage, medical, dental, vision to their utmost, like if someone doesn't have a baby in our group, if our employees don't have issues, medical issues, that means they're underutilizing the benefits, so we get returns, a refund from our group.
So we pay $227,000 roughly for the 8 employees that we have here that get the health benefits from us. And is that 55 come out of, from that? Is that
That's a reimbursement of premiums, correct.
and where does that money go?
Some of it is, as council is presented it for approval, some of it is returned to the employees at a single rate, a single premium rate. Even if they have a family coverage, they get a single premium rate.
So they get money.
Some of it.
Some of it. So that would be a benefit in addition to what I have as far as my.
Correct. The employees pay 7.5% of the premiums currently.
Okay.
The total premium.
$1,323.49.
Okay.
That's a single rate.
Okay, gotcha.
Any other questions?
I have another question here, just, page 5,
Account number?
there is no account number, that's why I'm, inter-fund transfers, so,
Okay. The fund balance?
surplus balance, so is that just the running amount, the $382,000 that we have in our checking account?
Correct. The
basically?
general fund checking account.
Okay, so there's no itemized number, account code for that balance, okay, that's fine.
We could assign it the asset number if you'd like, but
No, I just want, that's okay. And then the third thing I wanted to mention was at the back here, we have this pool account that has.
that's because there are still costs associated with the pool because it's not been demolished.
Right, so
It
what,
still exists.
so what I'm wondering is until we do something with the pool, or maybe in next year's budget, maybe should we incorporate that in just the public works budget? So
It would be a general fund expense,
And
correct?
then take that account away, just have that as a general.
It was the practice of the borough to keep the
Pool
pool,
separate.
although it's not required, as a separate fund to make sure that it was performing and breaking even.
But it wasn't breaking even, we made.
It was
numbers
not,
work, you know,
no.
for years and years and years, okay. Thank you, that was my
Sure.
questions, thank you.
While we're at the pool, maintenance and repairs for $500 is being budgeted, is that to make the offices for the police to use, that 500?
We were hoping to use existing funds in this year's budget, but the way the timing is going, it could be, those are going to be the expenses for improving the locks, the doors, any other things that might just come up that need to be fixed on the outside.
For the outside, for them to be able to come in and use office space.
Correct, the existing office space.
And you have desks already that they'll use?
Already, yes, office furniture's already there. And if they need any filing cabinets, they would need to bring them in, because that would be some security issue with police records. But I do not believe that that's what they're going to be doing, at least in their,
I think it's more just a place to sit
Yes.
down and do paperwork.
yes, and have Wi-Fi access.
Right.
That's better than what they had over at the Public Works building. They had an office over at the Public Works building at the beginning of this contract, the first contract with Fleetwood Police.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt the 2023 budget as presented.
I'll second it. Any questions? All those in favor? Anyone opposed? Me?
Yeah, the last item of my report then would be, associated with the budget, would be the ordinance to raise the water and sewer rates by 20%.
I'll make a motion to adopt ordinance 8, 2022.
Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Did you have anything else?
No, not this time.
Okay.
I just wanna quickly do a little follow-up since it's the end of the first year for a lot of us, with just a couple little things here. Now that this council has gone through the preparation of the budget, many of us for the first time had a few things I wanted to reflect on. First off, I'd like to suggest that next year we agree or at least discuss raises, and if any water sewer rent increases or tax increases are necessary in October, before the first draft of the budget comes out, in order to avoid some of the blowback that has happened. It should do a couple things besides hopefully make that better. That way we shouldn't need to go through as many drafts of the budget as we did this year. It also tends to confuse and create some unnecessary problems. And I think it'll also get us all on the same page a little sooner. I mean, a lot of us are new, so there's expected to be some bumps, so just a thought for next year. Second is communication. I spoke to a lot of residents, staff and council members since I've started, I mean beforehand too, but more so specifically about the borough. And it's kind of my intention that there's been a lot of discussions happening outside of council meetings. While discussion's a good thing, there should not be discussions happening involving pay increases or potential changing of job descriptions with staff or residents before council makes decisions about them. This causes people to assume what they are told is in fact happening and undermines council as a whole. Lastly, I want to remind everyone that our main purpose here is to serve our community. Not as easy as it sounds, as this borough has a lot of moving parts. We have to weigh those moving parts equally, whether they be staff, equipment, infrastructure, entertainment, or the many other facets. Our borough is nothing without all of these things, so we cannot single out one over the other. We have to prioritize, of course, having drinking water certainly takes precedence over a concert in the park, but they're both important. In these uncertain times, we must remember that everyone's costs are going up. So I just want us to remember to maintain the balance as best we can for everything.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second. Any questions? All those in favor? Anyone opposed?
Michelle.
There wasn't much to talk about tonight. We revised several times.
And we can't revise it again.
And said we had to pass.
Our taxes, our taxes went up.
Not increasing.
I know. Say at this point, I'm just glad to have a birthday.
Yeah,
I know.
Everybody got a cut pay. Everybody
One half.
And that was never, I think we don't have the space for